Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast. Presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the MitsuTimes podcast. Today, my guest is Mr. Dylan Ercegovich, and he has a very unique Lancer. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm all right. How are you doing? I
am great. I love to talk to people with unique builds, and this is certainly very unique. You're in the, it's the third spot on the list, but, I think a lot of people
technically the second.
The second.
Yeah.
We'll let Isaac and Lucian play around up there.
Yeah, they can have their moment.
Well, man, I'm very. First off, I love the build. I love what you're doing. I love that it's just not the same old thing. And even from Isaac's car or the other just Lancers on the list, yours still sets apart a little bit.
Yeah, I think on the list, I'm the only other 4B11T swapped base Lancer.
Gotcha.
So I think everybody else is either NA or just like a Rally or Evo turbo setup.
Let's
as far as I know, I could be wrong.
I know I didn't prep you for this, but let's start with what the difference is between the 4B11T and the 4B11 block. Just because I think a lot of people don't know.
So the 4B11T block is just stronger. It's a 4-bolt main instead of a 2-bolt. It lower compression, so you can run higher boost levels safer.
Okay.
I think overall, for a boosted application, the T is designed for it when the 4B11 isn't.
I mean, that makes sense considering what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, it came factory turbo. So it was designed with that in mind.
Right. Well, Dylan, let's start from the beginning. What is it that got you into drag racing? I mean, you could have taken this Lancer and done anything. Why drag racing?
Well, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love to go fast. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I didn't build the car to not go fast. I wanted it to look different than everything else, but I also wanted it to perform. So I remember going to the drag strip with my dad when I was a kid, and I loved the look of it and just seeing everybody in the pits and the drag racing community and how it all was run. It always was appealing to me.
Okay. That makes sense. I definitely think I see where you're coming from, because it seems from the outside, it seems like drag racing is just the easiest to get into, right?
Yeah, that's not the case. Everybody thinks, you just, the light goes green, you step on the gas and you go straight. But there's so much more in behind it to actually be able to do that over and over again successfully without having problems.
For sure. Okay, so Dylan, knowing that, what is it that made you choose the Lancer platform specifically?
Well, I was young when I needed a car. My first car was my Lancer. I bought it when I was 18. Just got my license. I found out I was going to be a dad at a young age. So I needed something with 4 doors. But I also didn't want to go with just like an average Camry or something. I liked the look of the Lancer. It had, that sporty look to it. So that's the main reason why. I found it on Facebook Marketplace at a good price. It had a sporty look to it. It was a DE, like it came with steel wheels and hubcaps, no spoiler, no side skirts. It was like base model, no keyless entry, but it fit my budget at the time, and it had the sportier look I wanted.
Wow, I hadn't even seen the DE with steel wheels. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it came factory steel wheels with factory Mitsubishi hubcaps, 16-inch hubcaps.
So that's really where it all began with this car.
Yeah, it was bone stock, no heated seats, no sunroof, no keyless entry, like nothing. No ABS, no traction control.
Okay. Well, Dylan, let's get right into it. Walk us through the setup on your Lancer currently.
So currently, it's a 4B11T swap out of a Evo, Rally Art, whatever. It's the same engine, but it's running a Turbos RS 3586 turbo with a IWG 75 Turbo Smart Wastegate, fuel injector Clinic 1200s, Walbro 450, 4.5-inch Ultimate Racing intercooler, upper and lower hard pipes, Turbo Smart blow off, radium fuel rail, custom tubular manifold, custom downpipe turbo back exhaust. I have a open dump, hood exit open dump. Just, a 5-inch intake pipe with a filter, oversized inlet elbow, some thermal gaskets where I could put them.
Okay. Well,
I think that's.
I want to give a quick shout out to Chris from Turbos R Us. He doesn't get enough. That
turbo has worked great for me ever since I put it on. I bolted up, no issues, and I've been running it. I'd so about 2 years now, year and a half, no issues. And I beat on it, so it sees full boost a lot, and it hasn't disappointed.
Well, for those that didn't see your most recent update, what is your best quarter mile time so far?
Right now, it was 2 weeks ago, I ran a 13.30 at 134 mile an hour.
Wow. And what do you know what the stock Lancer runs from the back?
I want to say high 16s. I could be wrong, but I want to say like high 16s. That my car also, it still has factory trans, open diff, so it's a one wheel. Like it just lights tire. Wow. So I've been battling that a lot.
So out of all the modification upgrades you just talked about, what do you think has been the most worth the money? What has been the best bang for the buck?
I just the 4B11T swap alone. Okay. To take the NA engine out and even to put that in, I have seen other people do it with just a Rally Art setup. You don't have to go, big turbo, big fuel system. But just going from an NA block to the 4B11T block was probably the biggest bang for your buck.
Okay. What about
you're
go ahead.
You're bolting in 100 horse more than factory.
Wow. So what about tuning? Do you do that yourself, or do you have somebody else do it?
I'm actually the tuning agent for Eastern Canada for H Tuning. Okay. So I work pretty hand in hand with Hiram from H Tuning, and he's helped me a lot getting this car where it is today.
Big shout out to Hiram and all the H Tuning group.
Oh yeah, there's Lee in BC, Jonathan in Florida. There's so many people. We're all over the place. But yeah, I'm the agent for Eastern Canada. Okay. Isaac was in the past, but through life and everything, he's stepped down and I've stepped up.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about, during this kind of body style years, there was a lot of front wheel drive cars that were very popular. So
yep.
How do you see the Lancer handling, with the numbers of the drag strip compared to all these other cars that were made during this time?
For the stock, the Lancer, the way it came from the factory, I think it handled pretty good. Very similar to, the Civics and the SIs and stuff. It didn't really, it pulled decent for what it was. And I think it gave all the other front wheel drive cars of that generation, and still does a decent run for their money. But to put the car and keep it front wheel drive with the open diff like it is now and the kind of power I'm making, it's hard to control and hard to keep straight. It likes to pull, it wanders, it's all over the place. So, but the way it came from factory, it was pretty decent on the strip.
Okay. Have you had in all the racing that you've been doing, have you had any bad mechanical failures or anything that was a close call?
Not major mechanical failures. When I first went turbo on the car, I did the Rally Art setup on the NA block, and I blew turbo seals twice. So, you're driving down the road, and next thing you know, you're smoking out the intersection. It's just billowing smoke out the exhaust. And I've had that happen twice. But other than that, knock on wood, I've been lucky. I mean, I don't own a pickup anymore, so like when I would take it to the track, I drive it to the track, I swap wheels at the track, I race all day, and I drive the car home. So I've been lucky that the car takes that kind of abuse, and it's still running how I like it to run.
Okay. Well, take us to the track with you. What's your pre-race ritual like from the time you unload off the trailer? What do you got to focus on to get you in the moment?
As soon as you cross the gate at the track, you just get pulled into that environment and the energy there. So when it comes to like, sitting there listening to music or nothing, it's really none of that. It's just, you walk around, you say hi to people, you check out some other people's builds in their cars, you watch a couple people do some passes, and it puts you into the right mindset. Like, let's do this. I'm ready. Let's go. You do the obvious checklist. You make sure you got oil in it. You set your tire pressures, make sure it's running good, warm it up, good to go. But you hit the track and you pray for the best.
Gotcha. So do you think, in your mind, the Lancer is kind of an underrated platform for drag racing?
I think so, because everybody, when they think Mitsubishi, everybody goes to the Evo.
Right.
So when it comes to the base Lancer in drag racing, there's not really a lot of people doing it. So to be able to try to pave the way or maybe guide some other people into getting into it and showing that what the car is capable of is a big thing.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Boosted Fabrication. They create custom parts for most Mitsubishi vehicles, parts stronger and lighter than OEM, such as cross members, engine mounts, bumper supports, and many others, including custom parts by request. Boosted Fabrication builds all parts to order using only high-quality materials, bonded together with expert precision, and finished to not only last, but to look good doing it. Check out all the products they have to offer at boostedfabrication.com.
So that being said, what do you think is a common misconception about the Lancer when it comes to either drag racing it or just modifying it in general?
That there's no big aftermarket market for it. Because every time you looked up, if you went on eBay or any aftermarket parts site, tried to look up for the base Lancer, you're not finding, fuel pumps and fuel injectors and all of that stuff. But people don't realize that it's the exact same. You can buy an Evo fuel pump and it'll fit in your base Lancer, Evo injectors, and they'll bolt in, cams, they'll bolt in. Even on the NA block, you don't need to 4B11T to do that stuff. Pistons, rods, they'll all fit in that block, but they don't label them as Lancer parts. They label them as Evo parts. So that's, I think, a lot of misconception and a lot of probably the reason why people don't get into modifying base Lancers is because when you look up parts, they don't say that they fit.
Yeah, I guess that's probably what most people think anyways.
Yeah. So like you can look at forums and stuff and people will, you can see people tell you that they fit and stuff, but a lot of people don't do that much research. They look around and they go, it doesn't work, and move on.
So what about the Lancer community? I know the people that are out there, it seems like everybody kind of knows one another because there's just not a whole lot of people, right?
Yeah, I think for the base Lancers, a lot of the community is here in Canada, Ontario. Like Isaac, he lives an hour away from me. We meet at the track all the time. We talk almost daily. He holds the number one spot, like we were saying. Luchins, he did the pass in Isaac's car the other week. He's 30 minutes from me. So the drag Lancer community is very close. There's so many of us in this area. We do dyno events, like with H tuning. So we did one mid-May. We did our dyno event here, and we did like 14 cars in a day. We dyno tuned. So the community is very small, but we're all very close.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like from an outsider perspective.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the forums and the Facebook groups out there, Lancer Nation, of course, the Mitsubishi Lancer Turbo Club. What else is how do those groups, communities work out for the community?
Well, I don't really do much Lancer Nation stuff like that. I'm one of the admins on the Lancer Turbo Club, so I'm in there a lot on Facebook. But a lot of it was, trial and error, and now it's other people that want to build theirs. We're getting a lot of, and it's just the same people asking questions. What do I need to do to boost my Lancer? Or will this fit? So that's most of the participation in forums and stuff is just maybe guiding people through builds, especially being the H-tuning agent as well. So people, like, one of their first stops is to find the tuner, and I'll get messages, and they're like, what do I need to do? Like, where do we need to go? What should I get? And it's just guiding them step by step to get what their goal is.
Mm. So what's the next big goal for this car? Is there a time in mind, or is there like a power number that you want to get to?
Well, right now the car makes 421 horse on 22 PSI, which I can turn the boost up, but I haven't found the need to turn it up because all I do is fry tire. So, I turn the boost up and I just fry more tire and go nowhere. So I'd like to get more power, so I want to put an LSD in it. Right now, when I'm dragging, I'm running on a street radial. I'd like to probably go to a full-on slick or semi-slick.
Mm-hmm.
But when I race the car full weight. I'm not pulling seats out. I got a full-on stereo. The air conditioning works. I have subs and everything. I pop another 400 or 500 pounds in entertainment that I drive around with every day. So I like, with the LSD, turn up the boost. I'd like to be able to run low to mid 12s steady in a full weight car. I think that's my next goal anyways.
So is the plan to stick with this Lancer long term, or do you eventually want to move to another platform?
No, I think I'm sticking with the Lancer. It's the community. I've seen the community in like the Focus community and the Civic, and it just seems so toxic looking out like outside in, when the Lancer community and the community that we've built locally is, I like to think it's not that. So I don't have any plans to change. I think I'm sticking with the Lancer long term.
Good. So let's say that you hit the lottery tomorrow and you can put as much money into this car as you want. What's the dream build on this car look like? On this car,
it's probably getting a full motor, sleeved, everything, 800-900 horse. If money's not an issue, why don't you just build it full and be done with it, right? But if I won the lottery, I'd definitely go with a full sleeved block. Like, my engine right now is bone stock from valve cover to oil pan. It doesn't have cams. It doesn't have anything. It's just bolt on a big turbo, throw some fuel at it, and go. So I definitely dive into maybe some internals and beefing it up a bit.
Okay. Well, on a lighter note, Dylan, let's say that your Lancer has a personality. How would you describe it?
It's rowdy for sure. It gets crazy. You cruising down the highway at 120, 130 kilometers an hour, and you can get in the boost, and it's breaking the front tire. You're spinning doing 170 down the highway. Like, it's definitely, I'd say if it had a personality, it would be rowdy.
The way you describe it, it makes me think of, I don't know if you're maybe too young, but do you remember a show called The Wild Thornberrys?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, man. In my mind, it sounds like Donnie from The Wild Thornberrys. Look it up after this. I think you'll.
I will.
So, I know there's a lot of circle gas cap jokes and all this. What's the weirdest or the funniest thing somebody said to you about your car?
The looks that I get when I'm on my drag wheels they don't even have to say anything, but you see the look, because I run C4 Corvette salad shooter rims on the front. So people look at the car and they go, oh, you know, it's Japanese. And then they, wait, those are Corvette rims. And you can just see the look on their face and the confusion. And like, I've had multiple people come up to me and they're like, I've never thought I'd see those rims on this car. Like, that's awesome. So I think that's probably, it's not necessarily what people say, but just the looks that the car gets,
For sure.
you know, with the hood exit and everything. It's, it gets some funny looks.
It definitely throws you off on the, you know, I hate calling them base Lancers, but the non-all-wheel drive Lancers.
Yeah. Yeah, to see something like that, especially with the Ultimate Racing, the 4.5-inch intercooler, it pokes out the front. It looks massive in behind the grille. And like my car, it's a custom paint job. It's got flares, like it's all flared out. So people take some pretty wild looks at it.
Well, with that being said, where can people find and follow you on social media so they can actually see this crazy machine in person?
I'm mainly on Instagram, Minty the Lancer. I don't got, like, I have TikTok, but I don't post on it. None of that. It's just mainly Instagram for me.
Okay. Well, Dylan, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout out to anybody who's helped them get where they are, get their car where it is. Is there anybody that you want to give a thanks or a shout out to?
Oh my God, there's so many people. Some of the big ones I'd have to say are Isaac. He's been pushing me to do more, and he wants me to chase him down and he wants somebody to take his number one spot, which I think is great because it gives a lot of people motivation to do something.
Absolutely. That's what it should.
Luchin, he's been a big help with the build, guidance, parts, everything. Obviously I got to shout out H Tuning. They've been with me from day one. Lancer Turbo Club, Ontario Truck and Bus, they were my first actual official sponsor. They bought me my drag wheel setup, so my rims and tires, that was on them. That was amazing. But yeah, there's so many. I can sit here for hours naming people one by one. There's Greg Rapp from Rap Fab. He did all my hot side, my turbo stuff. You know, Chris from Turbos R Us. It's, like, it goes on and on, right?
Good. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear a big team behind you.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that took part in making the car what it is today.
Well, Dylan, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I can't wait to see some more PBs from you, and I hope that you keep kicking some ass and get that number one spot one day. Sorry, Isaac.
Yeah, I'm chasing. I'm coming for him. I'm on his ass.
Hell yeah, man. Well, best of luck, and I'll see you at the track.
Yeah, take it easy. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.